All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LiveStream on the Moonshine, number 315 now. This is part 23 of my horror visual novel playthrough, The Letter. So it's been a little over a week now since I played part 22, but I do remember it pretty vividly as Ash and Isabel had went into the Briar Realty company that she works at to try to find clues as to everything they could get about the mansion that is supposedly haunted that Hannah and Luke live in now. So they're trying to get to the bottom of this, and it was pretty interesting because um, when Ash went into the security room to try to get some evidence and stuff like that, he saw this zombie female thing in the camera, and it actually crawled into the camera itself and was after them. They got a really good scare and had to GTFO, like, get the hell out of there. And so now Ash has seen everything that he's been doubting with Isabel, his good friend, and now he's seen exactly what she's seen and maybe understands why she's been so horrified. And, maybe he trusts her a little bit more now. So, pretty interesting visual novel. They just barely got out. It was, I believe, at night still when we left off. So we're going to go ahead and get right back into the letter right here, guys. So let's go ahead and load. And this would be on 9/17. Yeah. All right. This is where we left off, right here. Just to go ahead and catch up, guys, let's go ahead and show you the backlog. Oh, we don't have a backlog. Okay, never mind. Just go ahead and click. Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Remember, we're in Ash's point of view still. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance. Scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with a sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. Oh my god, that's crazy. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes it off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me, apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches out for me. And the ground trembles. He's got to be having a nightmare, right? The world slows to a stop. Oh my. Look at that blood? Oh no, that's a blanket. My god. Yeah, see what this writing does to me? It makes me think that a red blanket is blood there for a minute. No. That's just a red blanket. That's her shirt right there. Okay. I'm sure somebody else has thought the same thing when they went from the scene we just had to Isabel's apartment. Morning breaks into a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors. Oddly, there's no feeling of terror or confusion gripping me, despite the vague images that have driven me from sleep. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish as I blink away the last remnants of unconsciousness from my eyes. The early morning light already streams in from the open windows, when the memory sets in and the room finally comes into focus. Isabella's apartment. Pushing myself upright, my eyes wander idly towards her prone form. She's hunched over the coffee table, both her arms under her head while she continues to rest. And then to the chaos of papers and folders we left scattered over it, before sleep has claimed both of us. We bunkered down here last night after both our nerves had calmed down, mine for the most part. Staying together was an unspoken invitation. And anyway, I'm pretty sure neither of us want to remain alone when there's that That woman. Yeah, is that what you'd call her? Is she still one in the first place? One that we normally call a human? Yeah, I don't think she's human at all. Can it still feel guilt? Does it even understand pain?
Fuck, I'd rather get charged for breaking and entering than mess with whatever that thing was any day.
Right? Not that thinking about this still matters when all of our lives are still in her hands. She's dangerous. If we don't do anything about her and this curse, we'll definitely be pushing daisies soon. And I can't let that happen. I've dallied on this long enough. I've left all my friends in harm's way after the warnings that they've all given me. Yeah, he finally understands what's going on now. Besides, beneath the terror and the adrenaline that keeps me running, knowing what lies ahead for Isabella, that makes it hard not to take action. The paper sitting on the edge of the table calls for my attention now, at this light against my hand when I reach for it. It has caught my eye the night before, but with the lot we still need to go through, I've simply ignored it. The logo emblazoned on top of the page, however, provides this paper a whole new meaning. Not for me, but definitely for her.
A scholarship grant, huh?
To, Isabella. Yep. The University of Luxembourg. I've only ever heard her talk about this once or twice, completing her degree, that is. She rarely goes on about it in great detail, preferring to keep it to herself. Perhaps it's the fact that she thinks she's already too old to be chasing after it. It has been 5 years after all, but I've caught enough snippets of conversation between her and Zach to know she has never given up on it. That's good. Despite how things have panned out with her father, she's one step closer to this part of her life. As silly as it may sound, coming from a friend, I'd like to give her the chance to have this. Whether this means stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring out what the deal with this curse is, I'll do so. If only to see that same smile from her from that time again. These days, the only moment she seems to show is when she's asleep. Like right now, no matter how uncomfortable she appears. A smile on my own forms despite this when I glance at her sleeping form again. He hasn't moved since, her shoulders rising and falling in a slow, even rhythm with her breathing. You won't think she has any problems this way.
If only that were true.
Sighing, I place the paper back where I've gotten it, carefully so it won't accidentally wrinkle or damage it in some way, and finally push myself off my makeshift bed. Isabella shifts when I carry her off the floor, or carry her off from the floor and over to her bed, but she doesn't wake up. She simply tucks herself comfortably under the covers I pull over her. Briefly, though, she mumbles something to herself and then draws in another deep breath.
Becca, Ashton's being dumb again.
She drifts back to a deeper state of sleep afterwards, like it hasn't even been interrupted by the slightest movement earlier. But the small smile on her lips remain. One I find myself returning in kind, rather.
Who sleeps like a rock now?
It's better this way. Better to leave her to her dreams for the moment, which I hope are better than the ones I've been having. She'll have time to worry about our problems later when she wakes up. For now, this will be another thing I don't want to take away from her. A moment of respite, no matter how fleeting. She deserves it, after everything she has been put through. What I put her through. In the meantime, I still have 2 other people I need to check with. Isabella will definitely get in a tizzy if I don't check on them. Yeah, he definitely has some strong feelings for Isabella. There's no doubt about that. We kind of learned in the last episode, if anybody missed it, that, yeah, he she made it pretty obvious to him that she just sees him as a friend. And he got a little bit hurt by that. So that was a little bit heart wrenching. Um, in the same way, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Office. The Office, man, I remember watching that TV show. I don't know if it was the end of season 2 or whatever, when Jim in The Office made his feelings known to Pam. And it was pretty obvious that they both flirted and they really liked each other a lot or whatever. But The Office did such a great writing and the acting and everything like that. I remember it making me cry. I think it was the last episode of number 2 when Jim, kind of let her know that he had strong feelings for her, and she had a boyfriend as well, and she's like, I'm engaged, you can't, or whatever. And of course, the music and everything like that was just perfectly done. And yeah, I remember that. That was one of the first TV shows that I can remember in a long time that made me cry. God, that was 12, 15 years ago now, 12, 14 years, something like that. It was a long time ago. But I do remember that scene, and it was a little bit like that when Isabella kind of let Asher know that he didn't kind of have the same feelings that he had for her. Not usual in itself, this is what Luxborn weather is supposed to be. Okay, so cold Luxborn air meets me upon stepping out of the hallway. Not unusual in itself, this is what Luxborn weather is supposed to be. A bit cold, yeah, for the most part, and more often than not, terribly drab with an occasional sprinkling of rain every few hours. The sky is still clear, but I'll give it a day or two before the weather takes a turn for the worst. I've complained about the awful rains for years, despite having lived here my entire life. I have to admit, though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. At least something's still normal in this world, when I can no longer think the same for the situation that we're in. A nightmare. Well, that's probably all this is. Yeah, you wish. There's some copium right there, huh? My son always says, that's copium. Yeah, that right there is telling himself a nightmare. That's probably all this is. That's some serious copium. I can't blame him. Yeah, I'd be doing the same thing, I think, if I saw the kind of shit they're seeing. Usually I'll say, I've been through worse. But that's simply another lie that I've often told myself, isn't it? And I've fed myself a great deal of lies. See, he's admitting that he knows he's full of copium. And I fed myself a great deal of lies through the years, just so I won't have to think about it the very next day. Maybe we won't even have this problem if I haven't been running away and ignoring things, hiding them someplace no one will see, because I've since believed doing so is a show of weakness. Story updated. Zach's probably right. Perhaps I've always been afraid there's some damn truth to what Isabella's been saying, knowing I have no clue of how to deal with it. And now, after it has stared at me right in the face, I'm at a loss. Scared shitless, in fact.
The fuck do I know about ghosts, though?
Right? What does Zach know about Rebecca? The Z-Man has shown me photographs, mentioned weird things happening around him the past few days. Bottom line, he likely knows as much as I do about this. Why else would he approach me? The guy who knows stuff, according to him. In the end, all I've done is give him the brush off. Some reliable guy I am, huh? Hell, Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of this. What can any of us do when all of us lack any understanding about what the hell is happening? I have to agree with him. One thing is clear about this, however. That thing is after us because of that letter. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it too. She will go after them as well. Yet here I am, walking up Becca's door, one slow step at a time, a stalling tactic to allow myself some time to put the mess in my head in better order. How to phrase this when there's a 90% chance she's still pissed about the whole different matter. It's the only reason we didn't check on her last night, aside from the ungodly hour that Isabella and I finally arrived back. We'll only alarm her by showing up in her home in the middle of the night, acting like babbling lunatics. and her anger can last quite a while. These days, it seems the only one she can easily forgive is Isabella. But even with her, Becca's fuming still takes hours. I run my hand through my hair and straighten out my jacket before knocking. Once, twice, and 3 times, just to be sure she has heard me, even if she is still asleep. She's usually awake by now, though.
Hey, Becca, it's Ash. Open up. Don't tell me you're still in bed.
Seconds tick by. No answer from her, and dread has started to creep up. So this would be a frightening moment. I'm actually glued to this moment. Like, what the hell's going on with Becca? Where the hell is she? We don't know, and if you remember back to even to Isabella's part, way back months ago when I got to the very end of Isabella's part before we started reading Hannah, we know that Isabella was in a moment where that thing was basically right there and she was all alone. And it never gave us an ending to what the hell happened. It went right into it backed up a week and started going into Hannah's point of view. So we didn't ever find out what happened. And here, just with Rebecca, we don't know what happened to Becca. So this is scary. I've been trained to handle dire situations, but the feeling has been doing that quite frequently since last night. My mind begins to anticipate the very worst, and in the next minute, concern has mixed in with my thoughts, and I bang my fist on the door, louder this time. She'll definitely be livid, but I'd rather face her wrath than face a dead body. Yeah, this is scary.
Becca, it's Ash. There's something we need to talk about right away. Open up. I know you're...
Yeah, he even sounds scared. Like the acting. I love the acting in this visual novel.
Your girlfriend left early this morning, pretty boy.
Oh, wow.
So if you could do us a bloody favor and shut up, that'd be real fucking polite.
Oh, man. My hand pauses short of landing another heavy knock. From the other unit, Rebecca's other neighbor peeks in through his door, though I see nothing but a bundle of blankets. I'll say they need help from being devoured by their sheath, but it sounds like he's just fine. He's a huge asshole, too. Course of action so people like him won't ruin your day. Act like the nicest person on the whole planet. Has done me wonders when I was a rookie patrolling the streets. No need to match his temper.
Oh, did she say where she was going?
I don't know. She said something about meeting someone or something, in case Filipina girl over there asks. Well, what am I, her keeper? You know some people want to sleep in on a bloody Sunday, so keep it down.
Right.
Just looking forward to this weekend. Thanks, you damn git.
Well, there's no need to be an ass about it. I'll get out of your...
Wow. He slams the door shut without warning, but not before muttering a string of very colorful words about me. Probably thinks I won't hear him inside the 4 walls of his apartment.
Jerk.
Yeah, right? And at the end of it is a sigh. So Rebecca's not here, so I must have missed her by an hour or so. But at least she's not alone. She should be safe, in theory. More so, the person she's meeting with is who I'm thinking. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing continuing down increasingly darker lines of thought. To act brashly, to find out where she is and go straight there, without deliberating on my actions first. There's Zach to boot. Rebecca's not alone, but I can't say the same for the big guy. A simple phone call to the both of them should do the trick. It'll ease my nerves at any rate. It's better than rushing over to Zach's place or assuming Rebecca's whereabouts and finding out they're not where I've guessed they should be. I agree with that. Assuming the worst will come next, which I'd rather avoid this early. Any other reason, I won't bother them, but an emergency begs for urgency. And this is one, right? Even if it isn't, anxiety from concern dulls your judgment, something I most certainly can't afford to lose at any given time, especially right now. Yep, I would agree with that thinking as well. Any means to calm it will do wonders for the muddled mess my mind is already in here. Pulling up my phone, I thumb through the screen until it ends up on a group with only Zach, Rebecca's, and Isabella's numbers listed. Close friends. I like that. Other people will probably say I keep too few friends when they chance on this. To some extent, that is true. I can easily name about 100 people that I'm acquainted with through the years. Colleagues, blockmates from the university, neighbors, those sort of people. They all come and go. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason, without warning or asking for anything at all. Unlike the others, none have Zach's kindness, Rebecca's patience, nor the sincerity in Isabella's eyes. One day, these guys are just there, and the next thing I know, being with them eases it. Yeah, he's completely right. I mean, I think real true friends that you have where you learn to care deeply about them and they care about you and they would do anything for you. They would drop everything on a dime and go to help you out. Those kind of friends, real friends, I think are very numbered, and that's in a lifetime. Most people probably make less than a handful of real friends in a whole lifetime. And that's why they're so special. And it really shows the special friendships that he has with Zach, Rebecca, and Isabella. That heavy, somber feeling lingering in the air when you stand alone in your apartment, or something as simple as spending your day off without anyone. I'll say it's loneliness, but this carries much more depth than that. If I can't help it, I don't want to lose any of them to some stupid curse. A phone call may be the least comforting thing at the moment. Honestly, I prefer being in the same room with them right now, but I'll take what I can get. Becca first. She'll get angry at me for worrying about her. She isn't some helpless damsel in distress, after all. She isn't the shy little girl I knew when we were children. We're already far from the people we were back then. But there's more than enough reason to check on her now. I don't have to imagine her taking anything head on. She'll do it, instead of asking for help when she needs it. I don't care if she gets mad at me at all, if only to know that she's doing fine right now. A ring, and in the silence of the hallway, its sound alone might as well be sharp enough to pierce through my ears. Another second passes. 2, 3. But when on the ninth ring, it goes straight to her voicemail, a cold feeling instantly lodges in my stomach. Yeah, that's worrisome. 9 rings?
Rebecca Gales here.
Oh,
You've
boy.
reached my voicemail. Sorry if I can't get to you right now.
Ah, Rebecca, answer your phone, girl.
Oh, and if this is Isabella, yes, you're free to reheat the food in my fridge. Otherwise, leave a message.
Probably just busy, that's all. Though I still barely manage to keep my voice even when I speak.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
Yep. We remember that voicemail. We remember her getting that voicemail. Becca will be alright. She is alright. She's safe. She's with someone else. In the event that woman shows up, she'll have someone with her. Someone she'll be able to ask for help. God, she's safe. She can handle herself. Becca might have a fiery temper, but she knows when she's faced with something she can't handle herself. Rebecca will see my missed call, and she'll call me back. Though I don't express it enough, Rebecca is someone I consider very important to me. Oh, we're getting a memory of them as kids. That's freaking adorable. She's been my friend for the longest. Anybody else would have been fed up with me and just left. The girl stuck by me, no matter how big of a jerk I've been. There's Zach and Isabella now too, of course. I'll always be thankful for having them around. The worst times before, however, Becca was there. No one believes it when I say it, but I've surely had my awful moments as a bratty kid and as a horrible teenager. Issues? I've had too many of them to count and refuse to deal with for a long time. At least that's what Andrew likes to tell me. I tend to think nothing of it. It has mellowed down over the years thanks to the professor, mostly. But at times, I do wonder if it still burdens me the way it did all those years ago. After all, I was terrible, especially around the time of my parents' separation. Well, that'll do it. Looking back at it now, I had no reason to direct all my frustration towards everyone else. While I wasn't a kid who lashed out at anyone, preferring to keep to myself and turning those negative feelings into more productive things. I've grown distant from a lot of people because of this. From my old friends back in my old school and the neighbors I've hung out with before moving. A habit I've likely brought with me into adulthood. I was just so angry with everyone and everything. All I kept thinking about was myself, wondering why me? In retrospect, I was a selfish little bastard who thought the world revolved around me. That I shouldn't have been going through it. I believe my behavior was entitled. That I had the right. Tough times. But she stuck by me. Snapped me out of my little sulk, as she often phrases it, whenever she sees the chance to bring it up now. She didn't tolerate my bullshit, but she didn't leave me alone either. If anything, the whole thing made her stick around. Her concern may have grown a bit overbearing as the years went by, but she's still an old friend nevertheless. I owe her a lot. That won't change.
Where are you, Becca?
That was really cool to go back and see a scene of her and Becca when they were kids, and his explanation, or him thinking to himself and remembering how damn good of a friend she's been over the years. Yep. So he's wondering where she's at. Another message left on her voicemail. Then on my third call, I just hang up. For the time being, I can't do anything more than to wait for her to return my calls. Worrying aimlessly won't get me anywhere. Well, he's right there as well. Zach, on the other hand, that guy attracts trouble no matter how much he tries to avoid it. It doesn't help how he hasn't been too hot lately with a lot of people. Like Luke, for example. His mention of plans yesterday, it doesn't set too well with me either. He might be the next responsible adult after Rebecca, out of the four of us. But I've still got to check on the big guy. Make sure he's doing okay at the very least, whatever he has planned on doing. All I'm asking is for it not to be idiotic. He's a sensible guy, I'm sure. However, desperation clings and pushes people to do things, rational or irrational. It doesn't matter. I would agree with that. Clear thinking flies out the window the moment you're in danger, and I sincerely hope he has not found himself in a tricky situation. His phone doesn't even ring before he answers. Or his voicemail, at least.
Hey, it's Zach. Well, a voicemail anyway. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, just leave a message, yeah?
Yeah, he's not having any luck reaching his two best friends here.
And no, Ash, you're not allowed to lockpick your way into my apartment again. Just do what any other decent human being does and call if I'm not around. Thanks.
Did he turn it off? Why? I don't want to assume the worst yet. Maybe he has forgotten to charge it? Can't be. The guy can be a bit of a Boy Scout, even more so than I am as a cop. He's the type who has extra battery power or a battery bank in his bag if he ever needs it. Prepared. And he always does. He won't say anything or brag about it, but he's got quite a roster of VIP freelance clients. He won't just leave his phone dead in case he's on the field, particularly when people will be likely looking for him. He always leaves his connection open whenever clients or his friends need him. Zach is reliable like that.
Why isn't anyone answering?
Yeah, that would make me nervous. His mobile in and out of a range area sounds more plausible, although the thought of that doesn't completely shake off the unease. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella said. And even if he didn't believe it, he was definitely the first one to offer help or try to do something about it. If he ends up in trouble doing whatever it is, so help me, I'm going to... Well, I can't be rash, I'm aware of that. Been running the same reminder in my head since last night now. But if something happens, I'm certain my reaction won't be pretty. Yeah, it's like his best friend, man. The added guilt from those times I've repeatedly dismissed him will surely haunt me.
Yo, Zach, call me back, alright? I wanted to check in and, yeah, just please call me back.
Yeah, if that's not a message that you would... If you got that message, I think you would definitely want to call you back, because you can tell he's concerned. Tell Ash is real concerned there. It's usually a joke between us when I say he's the Watson to my Sherlock. I don't see if it's some kind of assistant to put aside until he's needed, like some people like to believe, though. He's not some pity friend I keep around to make myself look good.
If anything, he's the one who stayed by me out of pity.
Right. Zach's the one who puts up with me most of the time, even when he doesn't need to. It's not a case of a cool cop who helped out a minority. In truth, it was a hard-headed, hot-tempered, and reckless rookie. Up until I met him. It wasn't anything sudden, and some part of me still is a rookie. But I've grown, thanks to him. He tempers me. He tempers that part of me. Considering how our first impressions went, I'm lucky he stuck around. Beck and I may have spent a lot of years together as children, but Zach? He's probably the closest thing I'll call to a best friend, though it's more than that. Camaraderie, with no words can express. He has my back and I'll always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck to ever have having. Only an only child and all.
And I have every reason to worry about my brother.
Exactly. Becca's neighbor did say she went out to meet with someone, no specific names. If I'm wrong and she's not with Professor Clark, then maybe she's with Zach. They've never been close, but it's not the kind of awkward friendship where meeting together remains out of the question. Regardless, I continue dialing for his phone another 3 times, like I've done with Becca's. And in the end, after a third attempt with no one answering, I stopped and kept the call short with a ragged XL.
Waiting game it is, then.
I've been trained for those. Hell, I'm used to them. It's just not when it comes to the people I'm close to. Much as I keep reminding myself to maintain a level head, it's a whole different matter when it's someone that you know. Personal feelings will likely get involved at some point. It's starting now, actually, with the anxious strings coiling and uncoiling, causing a racket inside my stomach. It annoys me that all I can do right now is grit my teeth and trudge back to Isabella's apartment. It's useless. That's what I am in the face of this. A mad dash around Luxborn and Anselm isn't going to help things here. It's not like I'll simply stumble across them on the side of the road during a drive. The city's too big of a place for one person to go searching for only 2 people. I'd be lucky if I even glimpsed the hair of either one of them. With one last frustrated glance towards the open skies, I slip back into Isabella's apartment and slam the door behind me. I might have already grown used to this, but the waiting will always be the hardest part. More so when it's the people that you care about.
Ash, did you really have to shut it like that?
So he woke her up with slamming the door. This is not the first time I've seen Isabella like this. Standing casually by her kitchenette, a ladle in hand, keeping an eye on whatever's stewing on the stove, while humming a soft tune under her breath. 5 years ago, it has become a common sight after the 3 of them, including Zach and Rebecca, found a mutual interest in cooking. After that, whenever our schedule allows it, one of them will invite everyone to dinner or lunch instead of eating out. Rebecca prefers it that way, healthier, she claims. Zach's just too happy to be able to cook for everyone. Isabella, on the other hand, as long as there's food, she's happy. Me, I've been banned from the kitchen ever since the pressure cooker incident. Easier times, good times. Right now, however, the scene brings an odd sense of normalcy. A strange fit with all the things going on around us. Not unwelcome, only bizarre, I suppose. Isabella doesn't follow up on her question earlier, but she does raise an eyebrow my way when I take too long to answer. And for that, I only offer a casual shrug in response and a short answer.
I've checked with Zach and Rebecca. I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
I'll add in a quip or two for her if the timing for a joke isn't off, or doing so won't be inappropriate. I don't want to alert her either. There's no reason to. Not yet. Until I've received an answer from Rebecca or Zach, whichever comes first. Nevertheless, it's clear she has plenty of questions. It's right there in the subtle crease between her eyebrows and the inquisitive gleam in her eyes. Curious as she is, though, she decides against voicing all her questions out. Instead, she shifts her attention back to the stove and gestures vaguely with her hand in the couch's direction.
Well, if we're going to wait for them, don't stand around there. It's getting distracting.
You're just cooking. How am I distracting?
I don't know. Something might explode again, maybe. Zach's kitchen ban for you is also in effect here, you know. Now shoo, go.
Too funny.
Stop hovering. You'll ruin the food. I'll be done here soon.
And she leaves no room for an argument by swatting the ladle at me. And just like that, I've been kicked out of her kitchen. Left with nothing else to do, I drift back to her tiny living space and slump down on the couch. Closing my eyes, I allow the noise of the television to guide my thoughts. The ones I've been keeping at bay, freeing them from the cage I've built around them, so I won't have to even think. One by one, they trickle back into my consciousness, each more frightening and unnerving than the other. So many things going on. So many things happening. The papers we've gotten from the BRC don't provide any comfort either. Seriously, is there even a point to those after last night? What will asking those people do? If anything, this only proved there might be some more copies of that dumb piece of paper. We have one here, but how many exactly are there out there? More importantly, how do we get out of this stupid whole mess?
Ashton.
Damn it, I haven't even felt this kind of bone-heavy exhaustion in years.
I don't want to think what might happen next in case I miss something. Shit.
Rebecca, Zach, Isabella.
They're all depending on me and...
Ash!
The voice snaps me out of my thoughts, abruptly wiping away everything running a racket inside my head. Suddenly, Isabella's there, crouched in front of me when I crack an eye open. I haven't even noticed the exact moment when I've bent over and buried my head in my hands. Figures why she's staring at me like I have fainted or something. The crease on her eyebrows grow deeper at my lack of response. Although she's merely staring at me without saying a word, her expression says everything. So much for trying not to alarm her with bad news.
Sorry, I just spaced out for a moment. Don't mind me.
And for a brief moment, she seems to accept that. Quietly, she shifts, stands up, and takes the empty space right beside me. All done without a single comment. And then, the next thing I know, she's gently pushing a bowl into my hands. The scent reaches me first before I've gotten the chance to take in what she has just handed me. A faint, sweet smell of cocoa wafts from the dish. Calming, comforting. Despite the multitude of things bothering me, it certainly smells like the kind of food you'll enjoy on a rainy day. Though, from the get-go, it just doesn't look as appetizing. What is this even? Porridge? Why would you put chocolate in it? And milk drizzled on top? She tells me my tastes are weird, yet here she is, handing me something equally as strange. In fact, she has already started digging into hers. I'm just not sure if the taste will be equally as appealing. Baffled, I glance her way. She offers no immediate answers. She simply continues eating as if she hasn't done so in a week, with her focus solely on the television. She's not watching, however. She's just listening. As a background noise, the voices of it seem too cheerful, a welcome distraction, if anything. It's only after she has finished off half the bowl she does acknowledge the question in my eyes. And with a sigh, she cradles the dish on her lap and looks down at it. Briefly, her lips part and then close. A hesitation, though. I don't push her. There's a distant air on her, as if she's remembered something that warrants a poignant thought. When she speaks at last, it's a tone all too careful, like she's still weighing her words, considering the proper phrasing for it. Yet, sincerity underlies each syllable once they're out in the open.
You should eat. Back at home, Mama would never let us leave the house if we hadn't eaten breakfast yet. Even Papa has got an earful when he tried. So eat. You'll need it.
She returns to her food afterwards, while I can only stare at the one she's proffered not a few moments ago. Warm against my hands, tempting me to take a bite. Not that I don't appreciate this, but what good will this do? Zach and Rebecca both out there. Who knows when that ghost will show up again? Even in our dreams, we are not safe. But that's it, isn't it? We don't know when, and at present, we have a chance to respite. Maybe the only one we'll ever have. Even if it's as mundane as sharing food between us, quietly. Just sitting side by side like this without exchanging any words at all. The intent hangs unspoken in the air, something that probably goes as far back as the second she offered food. Still, in the end, Isabella never pushes it. Rather, she lets her own silence convey her hope. Whether I'll allow myself that break, she leaves that up to me. No, I'm gonna take her food. I don't know what the percentage of people are here that would take her food, but I think most would. And I think I don't think we want to be rude to our best friend that we care so much about.
Thank you.
So he says thank you. The words roll off my tongue, awkward and unfamiliar, far removed from those jests and quips that we've shared. Yet she accepts us with a smile and nothing more. Regardless of everything left unsaid, the sight of it brings comfort. More so than any generous offer of food can ever give. Though we both lapse into silence after, as we finish our food, there's an ease in it. And this, in the muffled sounds of Luxborn, filtering into the room. Damn, it didn't even tell us if we liked the food. I'm assuming it still will. Like, was it good? In the light streaming from her windows and the faint draft occasionally drifting in, catching the loose tendrils of her hair. In the way her voice falters when she tries to form words. And despite the horror looming over us, I find myself wishing for the minutes to slow down, for the seconds to last. But ultimately, he's the one who breaks it, softly after a minute's pause, in words mumbled under her breath. Sometimes, silence simply compels us to speak.
I've been wondering, before last night, before Mama told me the news, what if Papa passes away?
Aww.
Despite everything. That sort of thing. I know it's not good to think about, but I also knew it was getting worse. Mama won't say anything, but I've always known that one day, he'll eventually...
No, he will. She releases a sigh as her grip on the bowl he still holds tightens. There are no tears, but she might as well have them with how weak her voice falls. Are there even any left?
I don't know what I'm going to do. Before, I can easily say it's because of Papa. Now, I don't have anything.
Aw.
You have that scholarship from LuxU.
Were you going through my personal papers while I was sleeping last night?
I don't really have to. You left it sitting in the open, right there on the table?
Like there's still anything to hide, she snatches it away from where I placed it back earlier. Except there's no anger or annoyance in her face when she looks at it and rereads every line with a pensive expression. After a short while, she folds it neatly along the creases and sets it back.
I don't even know if this will work out.
Well, if it doesn't, what about that exhibit you've been planning with Zach?
Do I even have to ask where you got that?
Zach sucks at lying. You have no idea how easy he is to read. It was all in his face when I asked about it. And anyway, if that doesn't pan out too...
I trail off, hesitating, measuring the weight of my next words. Genuine as they are, a part of me believes they're a burden. Too heavy to impose upon her. Yeah. Because no matter how much I want her to stay, we are not what ties her here. It'll be selfish to ask her of that. More than anything, her family will always come first. I say it, nevertheless, if only to let her know that no matter what her choice will be, there will be people here There will be people here whose lives, here more presence has changed. I don't know. There's a misspelling there, I feel like. There will be people here whose lives her mere presence... Oh, yeah, okay, so that's right. It's like it's not written wrong. I was just reading it wrong. There will be people here whose lives her mere presence has changed. Mine, most of all.
You.
You.
You have us.
Aw. The words startle her to a pause, and slowly she turns to me, her eyes wide, disbelief all over her face. But before regret forces an apology up my throat, her expression dissolves into something I can't quite place. Something distinctly softer, more tender, familiar, almost in the same manner she glanced at me years ago. That day on the bridge. However, I don't get the chance to figure out what it all means for her.
Sup, I'm Ash from the
All of a sudden,
Baggers, watch out, can't beat me. Looking for trouble? Better not lie. I'm a cool dude, pretty fly for an Asian guy. Sup, I'm Ash from Deluxe City. Baggers, watch out, can't beat me. Looking for trouble? Better not lie. I'm a cool dude.
So all of a sudden, my ringtone breaks the moment, and just as fast, both of our attention shifts towards the source. Before things can get awkward fast, I stand up and leave the room while muttering some flimsy excuse to answer my phone.
Sorry, let me just take this call. It's probably Zach or Rebecca.
Briefly, I know we're in a pinch, but their timing can't be any worse. Yeah. Unrelated frustrations aside, once I step out of the room and accept the call, the stone that has been stuck in my stomach simultaneously lodges itself up in my throat. The person on the other side of the line isn't who I'm expecting.
Right, Eli's right? It's Officer Renz over at the precinct. You know, you bring me donuts to keep an eye out for you and shit.
Oh, yeah, right, Renz, what's up? You've, never called me through this line before. Is this something urgent?
Yeah, kinda. Something came up this morning. You know the big guy? Your, buddy?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, I don't want to hear it. No.
The bloke Benjamin saw drop by here a few days ago?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't want to push the next button, guys. I really don't. What's going on with Zach? Is he found dead, or what's going on? Oh, the hairs on my arms are raising right now.
Big guy. Around 6 feet tall.
Zach?
Yeah, he's freaked out too. Poor Ash. What's going on? I don't feel too good about this.
Yeah, him. Zachary Steele, I think.
Uh-oh.
What about him?
He's been detained and...
Oh, detained. Okay, well, it's better than dead. Like I was scared. Wait, what?
What do you mean he's been detained?
They brought them in this morning.
That's not what I asked. What are the charges?
I don't know. Not my division. I'm not really supposed to be on the phone right now, but I thought you want to know. Anyway, I gotta go. If you want to see him, just drop by.
Professor's standing order not to let you into the precinct until Monday.
Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. I'll bring you some coffee to go with those donuts, too, next time.
The call ends with a click while I'm left reeling, staring blankly at my phone. It's just my luck that in this exact moment, Isabella chooses to peek out from her apartment.
Was that Zach? Is he gonna drop by?
I have no idea how I look right now, but it must be far from anything pleasant. The curious expression on Isabella's face quickly melts away as soon as she chances a closer glance at me.
What's wrong, Ash?
Yeah. I'm left with no other choice then. I tell her exactly as Officer Rance have said, and the more I spill, the more grim her countenance becomes.
Stay here. I'll go check on him. See what I can do.
No, I'll go with you.
Belle, I'm not going in there for a casual visit. Zach's in trouble and...
I know, but he's not the kind of person who'd do something that'll land him in prison. There must be a mistake.
Right?
Believe me, I'm on the same page as you, but...
I want to see him, all right?
And there it is again, that same sharp gleam that has been present in her eyes since yesterday. Little by little, I'm finding it difficult to say no to her. What other choice do I have? Still no word on Rebecca and Zach? Isabella probably doesn't want to be the one who ends up waiting for the news. I know exactly how that feels, so in the end, a nod's the simplest response I can give her.
Just let me turn off everything. I'll be out in a few.
Quickly, she disappears behind the door. From inside, the sound of her foot shuffling, few locks clicking shut, and a television being turned off drifts out the hallway. Her whole business inside takes only a few moments, and within 5, we're both on our way to the LPD, the Luxbourne Police Department. At least we know where Zach is now. That explains why he's not answering his phone. But what the hell did you do, Zach? He said he had a plan that might help, but if it got him into enough trouble to get himself in a cell, I don't think I like that plan of his. And hell yeah, I'm mad. I'm absolutely furious. It's just as Isabella said, I doubt Zach will get himself arrested because of an actual crime. But whatever stupid stunt he pulled to get in there isn't any better. The only good thing today so far is the fact that the streets are nearly empty, so early on a Sunday morning. Only a few pedestrians and virtually no other car on the road to get in the way of us rushing to the precinct. Within the speed limit, of course. And at the Luxbourne precinct, a whirlwind of activity welcomes us as soon as we waltz into the Luxbourne Police Department headquarters. Fellow officers running here and there, pushing around paperwork and answering calls. It's almost Halloween, and troublemakers are abound. Calls about pranks gone wrong make up most of the time this year, along with the occasional altercation of a missing dog. Or a missing dog. Some of the other officers who work with me look up from their desks and wave, though none of them move to stop us, like I'm expecting. Standing order my ass. It probably didn't even last the whole day. Although I'd like to have a chat with them sooner or later about official matters. I'm not here for them right now. Of course, it never hurts to see what they have for me, and the best person to ask for details in this precinct is the guy behind the booking window. He glances up at me once when I approach and immediately returns to his task, indifferent. Not that I need his full attention for this. As long as he talks, I'm good. Next to me, Isabella stands wordlessly, clearly uncomfortable, waiting in anticipation from how close she's sticking to me. But that's probably because she's been the same position so many times in her life. Her drunkard brother, the eldest, a repeat offender. That makes sense. Mostly minor cases, but she had to be the one to bail him out every time, from what I've gathered. I can't imagine what's going on inside her head now that this has happened to a close friend. Hearing the way these guys talk about him must be worse.
Hey, I heard there's a new guy in the holding cells.
Not many here know Zach, and if they've ever seen him, they don't pay too much attention. I try to keep my work and personal life as far away from each other as I possibly can. Each one of them is quick to chat, gossip, be the one to talk about the new detainee and have everyone's attention.
News flies fast, huh? They just brought him in this morning.
Any info on him?
Got his ass handed by some rich bloke's bodyguard. Or butler. Whatever.
Yep. Remember he went in that house. Remember he snuck in the window. We made a choice for him to sneak in the window because he heard the woman crying. And then the butler found him and punched him and knocked him the hell out. So then it looks like they brought him into the police station.
When we got to the scene, he's already been strung up and ready for pickup. Hard to imagine how a guy like him could have been taken down. But the butler has this creepy air to him. I'd rather not ask.
Right?
Feel sorry for the bloke. He could have fought back.
That's because Zach wouldn't hurt a fly.
All said under her breath, but her grip on her bag grows rigid. Unlike me, he's not frustrated at Zach at all. That ire is directed at the person who put our friend in this predicament. Yeah. It's true, though. Zach's not that kind of person, and knowing he might be in a bad state, whatever little anger I've built for him on the way here dissolves into thin air now.
Has he been booked yet?
No, still sleeping. Creepy butler probably hit him hard.
Which is a good thing. If they slip up and forget, we get him rid of habeas corpus and take him out of there, depending on what he's actually being charged with. But at the same time, it's bad. How long is he going to be unconscious?
Your friend was caught on right property, and you better believe I'm not happy about this. Not one bit.
Uh-oh. I want to say that there must be some sort of misunderstanding. Zach isn't the type to do such a thing, unless it was his plan all along. In that case, I couldn't charge blindly into this without all the details. So no matter how much I want to believe my friend's innocence, and right? Luke fucking right? What on earth was Zach thinking? In any case, it doesn't look like the chief is happy, even if I don't protest and give him a salute. Not pleased at all, if the fact that he grabs me and pulls me aside is any indication here. If I were to describe his expression, it looks like he's ready to kill me.
I swear, Frey, if you're behind this, if you told Steele to sort the rights because you were taken off the case, I'll...
Ah,
I'm not stupid enough to ignore chain of command and go against official orders. Give me some credit, Chief.
And you better be sure you didn't. Luke Wright is coming here, and we both know he's trouble. I'd consider your friend lucky if he only gets charges put against him. Maybe if we can make sure he's in a good mood, he won't escalate the situation. Hell, maybe we'll have a bloody miracle and Steele only gets a slap on the wrist, but Lord knows it's unlikely with that man.
You know him well, Chief.
an observation, not an accusation. But it might as well be with the way things panned out from the night of the housewarming party to the morning that followed. His wife's familiar with him too. Who's to say that friendship hasn't colored the investigation into Luke Wright? I don't want to accuse my superior, but damn it, he makes it too difficult.
Course I do, shouldn't you? You've been looking. I'd call you a bad detective if you can't even tell me whether he's right or left-handed.
Let me do that again.
Course I do, shouldn't you? You've been looking into the guy for so long. I'd call you a bad detective if you can't even tell me whether he's right or left-handed.
That's an easy one. He's left-handed, but he's been taught to use his right. You can tell when he picks something up with his left hand, but when he realizes that, he moves it to the right.
Well, at least I don't have to question your ability. Anyway, if I were you, I'd either go and make myself scarce or sit down and shut up. Don't go aggravating people, basically, because you have a knack for that at the worst of times.
As much as I hate to say it, he's right. It's better to keep my mouth shut and not make things worse for Zach. There's not much to do now except hope for the best. They don't call for an investigation when it comes to petty felonies. Worst case scenario, he's looking at a fine with 5,000 pounds and 6 months in jail. That's worse. Best case scenario, we get the charges bumped down to trespassing, a misdemeanor, a juvenile offense, and he'll be given probation and will be charged with restitution. At this point, those seem to be the most likely outcome. I don't see how he could have been framed for breaking and entering unless he was taken into somebody's property against his own will. Even in my head, that sounds unlikely.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I think I'm a delight to be around.
Tell that to my blood pressure pills. Anyway, let me handle him, alright?
And right on cue, the moment Chief says that, you know who arrives. And like the arrogant show-off that he is, he makes sure his arrival is well noticed by everyone within the immediate vicinity. Yeah, that sounds like the Luke we've grown to know. Behind me, Isabella gasps. He has no idea how much of a trash his previous client is. Now she's going to get a frontline view of it. The guy ignores the front desk, even when Benjamin tries to greet him. Damn. He just blows past him, walks in all high and mighty as if he owns the place. Meanwhile, the creepy butler is off his trails behind like a tame dog on its leash. It doesn't help either that the other officers stop whatever it is they're doing and just stare. Whether it's out of suspicion, curiosity, or judging by some other starstruck looks, awe. They should just quit it, get back to work, and stop giving the man the attention he's obviously seeking.
I'm here to report a crime.
Of course, why else would you be here? You're either reporting something or being put behind bars, you imbecile. I'm going to...
Calm down, Ashton. No need to rile myself up right now. I need to calm down. Yeah, I would agree with that. Not for him, not for myself, but for Zach. It's already difficult holding back, but his face looks like it could use a good right hook. Funny. Better to just let the chief handle him. Yeah, I think that's smart. Sure enough, he's the first to walk up to him, bearing a smile way too friendly for comfort. Looking at them makes me sick to my stomach right now. It's easy to know there's something up underneath the guise of keeping up his appearances.
I'll be happy to assist you with that, Mr. Wright. You'll have to issue your statements as victim and witness. We'll have to determine probable cause and properly file a criminal complaint. Of course, you understand.
Oh, I understand, though I don't see why you can't file that thing yourself. The cause is obvious, isn't it? He was breaking into my home in order to pilfer my belongings.
Oh boy.
Well, we'll still need that police report. The prosecutor will be the one to determine what charges you can legally file against the accused.
Reports and prosecutors, why should we law-abiding citizens suffer through all that? Thugs like him should be kept off the streets. I mean, it's so obvious who these people are. You can practically spot them.
Yeah, Luke is a scumbag here. And it's saying scumbag because that's what Ash thinks of him. Wait up. Hold up. Is this guy for real? Can he even hear himself? He's not saying what I think he's saying, I hope.
We come here to our country, take advantage of our wealth and generosity, while we proper Brits work hard and pay our taxes.
Here comes his racism.
All the while they break our laws and ruin our civilized community. Trash like these should be kept contained. These uneducated...
Now, Mr. Wright. I know you're upset about what happened, but perhaps we should move to my office.
Of course. The sooner we can deal with the petty criminal, the better.
I can't believe the audacity of this guy. Did he really think himself better just because he was born rich?
I swear they should just ship these peasants back to where they came from.
Man, what a scumbag.
They're all criminals. It can't be helped. It's in their genes.
Despite myself, in spite of every restraint I've placed on me, upon hearing those words, I can't help but open my mouth. Chief's warning, be damned. Uh-oh. What's he gonna say? You better be careful, Ash. Oh, it's my choice. It's my choice on what to say here. This is my friend he's fucking shitting on here. Call him out or rush him? No, we're not going to rush him. We're not going to attack him. We're not going to do anything like that. I guess we'll take the lesser of the two evils here and just call him out.
They're all criminals? It's in their genes?
Yeah.
Come here and say that to my face, you bastard!
Ash, don't.
I realized my mistake only after her whispered plea reached my ears. Isabella's fingers dig deep through the fabric of my jacket as she tries to hold me back. True, I shouldn't have put myself on the spotlight like that. But this guy? This fucking guy?
Oh, and who is this loud young man?
He glances at me like I'm a flea, a pest. But it's more disgusting how fast his expression changes once he spots Isabella behind me. Recognition flashes in his eyes the moment his attention turns to her.
I do recognize little Lily over there, though. Hello, long time no see. Is Pipsqueak your friend?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. He didn't...
Don't apologize to him! He doesn't deserve it! I can't believe you're all just listening to his shit!
You have to calm down, Ash.
Should have kept my damn mouth shut.
Frey, stand down! I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. Luke, you have to excuse him. He's under a lot of stress. Just got removed from a case and the man is an acquaintance, you see.
But I'm not taking any of my words back, because he is an utter bastard. And from the way he stares at Isabella to what he has done to Zach, it all reeks of the rot that is Luke fucking Wright. Even after so many years, nothing has changed. He's still the same slimeball who does everything to get whatever the hell he wants.
The thief is a friend of a cop? Now that is the start of a joke if I've ever heard one. A thief and a cop walk into a bar.
He's not a thief!
And yet we found him trespassing on my property. There are eyewitnesses, and his grubby prints are probably all over my pristine walls as he was breaking in. Face the facts, little policeman. You've made the wrong sorts of friends.
He's not a criminal!
And that is the truth. But with the way everyone is looking at me right now, this must have been how Isabella felt when we won't believe her about her letter. Just the thought of that leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. And here she is, caught in the middle of this fight I've started now.
Isabella, tell him! You know Zach. He's not the kind of person who'd do this shit!
Ash, we both know that. But yelling at him won't help Zach at all. Please.
Calm yourself, Frey. Unless you want me to throw you in a cell myself.
I understand you're upset that your friend is locked up, but the law is the law. And don't you worry, I won't be pressing charges against you. I don't know what charge, but I'm sure I can think of something if I need to. Do put a leash on your boyfriend, Lily. He might hurt himself. Being that angry can't be that good for his health.
I'm livid. Fist clenched and jaw tight. I'm ready to just sock this guy good and make do on that promise of a right hook. My frustration is all about... wait a minute. My frustration about it all must have shown, because not only do I realize that aside from Isabella, the other officers have also jumped in to hold me back all this time. They don't even let go of me. Not until I put a good distance away between me and Scumbag. And it's awkward going on from there. The precinct is quiet, although the usual hustle and bustle of activity has stayed. Everybody is making a concerted effort to shut their mouths about the whole scene. I wish they made the same effort to keep themselves from staring at me, though. They're all making me want to talk about what just happened. But at the same time, they don't want to acknowledge that it did happen and refuse to even make eye contact with me. All of it changes in the next second, though. It doesn't even register to me until it has already occurred. Before I have the chance to leave, ready to march out of the precinct still angry and frustrated, all of a sudden, Isabella, who has been standing close to me not even a second ago, grabs a half-full glass of water off one of the officer's tables and dumps the entirety of its content on to Luke. Oh, wow. Isabella thinks, yeah, this goes to show you Isabella is not very restrained either. She's pissed. And the expression on her? It's nothing short of seething.
You bloody...
Oh, boy.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Afterwards, she slams the drinking glass down on the table with a loud thud. With the whole precinct this steel, the sound of it creates echoes thickly along the walls, almost deafening. That's crazy. In the face of her temper, nobody dares move. But she doesn't give me time to relish the disbelief in Wright's face. She marches towards me soon after, and before I can even say anything, she grabs me by the wrist and drags me out of the precinct. Honestly, I've never seen something so satisfying in my entire life. I might as well be grinning from ear to ear if I weren't feeling so pissed at a lot of things right now. Still, I would have loved to sock the bastard myself. Yeah, that wouldn't have been smart. A few moments later finds the two of us sitting in mutual silence inside my car. With the two of us in a mood, thanks to one specific scumbag, it's better to keep our own opinions to ourselves, lest we lash out at each other. Let it melt away all on its own. How long until then? Can't tell. Zach's still in lockup, and I wasn't able to do a damn thing past getting angry and almost socking the living daylights out of Luke. Really, I just want to hit something, damn it. I almost envy Isabella for having the guts to throw water on him. But as amazing it is to watch, he still shouldn't have done that. This is right we're talking about. No matter how much he hits on any woman he sees on the street, the moment you piss him off, you better watch your damn back. It might have just been water, but she'll be living in the same city as him, and who knows when they'll meet again. He's just bunkered up over at Anselm, which is the mansion. I shudder to think how he can easily make her life hell with just a flick of his finger. Yeah, that's scary. It doesn't help that the thought of that alone adds a whole new level of irritation, atop the disappointment, anger, and outrage. And in my frustration, I slam a hard fist down on the steering wheel. Oddly, it's what finally piques a reaction from her.
You know what? You would have ended up in an even bigger problem if you did hit him.
Yeah, for sure.
You threw water at him.
It won't leave a mark, though. He'll live. The only thing I ruined is his expensive suit.
Still the same thing.
And you acting like this isn't helping Zach at all.
Really, blame is the last thing I want to hear right now, especially with the stunt she pulled. He means well, but anger clouds a lot of things. That's for damn sure. Sometimes I just can't help but sprinkle my own answers with the same heat. I know, damn it. What do you even know? I'm just gonna say I know. I'm just gonna agree with her.
I know, damn it!
Somehow admitting that out loud feels like a release in itself. As if a dam has been opened, every pent-up frustration spills from my mouth before stopping myself, occurs to me.
Seriously, it's one bad thing after another. First I get kicked off my own case, now Zach's in jail, and still no word from Rebecca. To top it all off, there's a ghost, a damn ghost of all bloody things, going after us. Everything's such a clusterfuck. Ow!
Without any warning, she gives my forehead a hard flick. The pain is fleeting, but enough to stop my tirade. She appears completely unamused when I glance over at her, and there's no trace of anger in her eyes at all, though even lacks the sharpness Rebecca has when scolding someone herself. Hers are softer, but doesn't fail to nail the disappointed mother look. All at once, regret replaces the annoyance.
You don't have to act so pissy all the time, you know?
Well, she's right about that, at least.
Not everything's gonna go your way. That's something you'll have to live with. That's just how it is.
Easy to say, but the moment everything goes south...
Well, that's why we're here, right? It doesn't always have to be just you. You'll miss a lot of things in life, the good things, if you keep thinking like that. If my mama were here, you'd get a scolding.
Yeah, she's got a lot of truth in that. She throws a quick smile my way, then turns her attention back to the window. Her gesture leaves no room for an argument. For some introspection, plenty. The whole thing did serve to help clear my head, and just like that, somehow, everything doesn't look too bleak anymore. Isabella has always had that effect on people. Gratitude and apology almost form in my lips.
Sup, I'm Ash from Deluxe City.
Though before the words even fall, my phone rings, effectively cutting through the conversation.
I'm a cool dude, pretty fly for an Asian guy.
A quick glance at my caller ID shows Rebecca's name blinking on the screen, and beside me, Isabella stares, waiting. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go ahead. Usually we finish a whole day, but we are not going to finish this whole day, because I feel like it's going to be a long one. So we're going to go ahead and save this right here, and we're going to find out what happened with Rebecca's call. She is calling him back, so that's a good news, but we're going to go ahead and finish this up in the next part 24. That'll be live stream on the Moonshine number 116, coming real soon. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon. Peace. Love you all. Take care.